Okay, hey, I will tell you a little bit about Finnish history. So, very shortly, but back in the day, something about the history of Finland. We were under the rule of Swedish kingdom from 1250 to 1809, and actually it's very interesting, or I think somehow it's quite weird that we have so different languages with Sweden and Finnish, because we have been under the Swedish kingdom almost 560 years. But okay, that's where it starts. We were Grand Dutch of Russian Empire from 1809 until 1917. Finland declared its independence from Russian Empire on December 6, 1917. And we have lost territories to the Soviet Union in 2 wars, although Porkkala was returned under Finnish rule in 1956. But there you can see these red areas, those we have lost to Russia. And first what we lost was Winter War. It was this Salla, which is a little bit up from the middle, and then this Karjala, which is on the right side, like down there on the right side. And then continuing war, we lost Petsamo, which is up north. And actually those areas has been, they are like 11% from our land. So it was quite huge area, and there lived over 4,100 citizens. But okay, and then sisu, this is something that we are very proud of. It's a Finnish word which means tenacity of purpose, bravery, resilience and hardiness. And this word is well known around the world, the world Winter War, I mean. And then we have joined it to European Union in 1995. But this is like quickly about the history. But then, si vis pacem para bellum, if you want peace, prepare for war. And our geopolitical situation and military force, some facts about that. The border between Russia and Finland is 1,340 kilometers long. That same border is also a huge part of the outer border of the whole European Union and NATO. Finland has its own strong defense force, and this is something that we are very proud of it. For several years already, the defense spending has been approximately 2% of the GDP. The Finnish defense force is based on a highly motivated, high quality, well-trained and well-equipped conscription army that has a wartime strength of 280,000 active personnel and 870,000 reserve personnel. And Finland has the largest artillery capability in the Western Europe. Now the air defense is further strengthened with the David's sling system, and Finnish Air Force's F-18 Hornets are being replaced by the world's most advanced F-35 fighter jets. And actually there has been big discussion about this before the Russian war on Ukraine, that should we put that much money to these new fighter jets. Finland has budgeted 10 billion for 64 new fighters. But we have always been prepared for different kind of crises and incidents. But what has happened after Russia's war on Ukraine? Finland joined to NATO on April 4th, 2023. And actually our ex-Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, was telling that Finland won't join to NATO when, on her watch. But what happened? Of course, she changed her mind. Defense Cooperation Agreement, which is known DCA, with the United States is signed. Russia has used instrumentalized migration against Finland. And about this, I want to tell you that since the beginning of August 23, more than 1,300 third country nationals have arrived in Finland from Russia without a visa. And that's why the border between Finland and Russia has been closed from December 15 last year. And during this time, no one can go through the border, and it's not possible to submit application for international protection at any border crossing points on the land border between Finland and Russia. Also disturbing, the GPS system, airspace violations, Russian spies, the Nordic Stream explosion, damaging the Finnish-Estonian electrical cable, just to mention some. Russia moves further to investigate a genocide on the people of the Soviet Union carried out by the Finns. And usually Russia, they have stories that they are based on truth, but they are a little bit changing the truth. So of course this is something that we are not afraid of, but we are wondering why this is happening now, because there has been almost 80 years ago. And the Border Security Act was accepted in the Parliament in this July. This will help Finland to maintain control of the border. And there was big discussion about this law because it might be against European Union law. But this was the only option that we had now at this moment. Of course, we don't know how it's working, but at least we have some tool to use if something happens. After this law, it is possible to open the border, but we haven't done any decisions yet. And Finland's Prime Minister Petteri Orpo has said that it is important that we have legislation that makes it possible to combat instrumentalized immigration and ensure that public authorities can act even in the most difficult situations at the border. But Finland is the happiest country in the world for 7 consecutive years. And Finland actually has been the first country when they're recognizing women's right to vote. And in year 1907, the first female parliamentaries were elected to the parliament, and there were altogether 19 women and 181 men. But still, yeah, first country. One of the safest countries in the world, pure nature, rule of law, welfare state, second least corrupt country in the world, and freedom of speech and other civilian rights are well recognized. And then, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Be strong, so no weakness. Be prepared for anything. Take care of the weakest. Try to find different solutions. Be prepared to make compromises. Try to maintain open conversation. Try to understand your opponent. Don't be stupid or naive. Try to create hope, because the hope dies last. And then end war. And I would like to ask that, have you ever been thinking that is there something that you could do to end the wars? Politicians are usually very good at speaking in general, but how about taking some actions? And what I have heard during this seminar, there is a lot of similar thoughts about peace and democracy. And of course, everybody knows what to do or how we can find the solutions. But really, have we done enough? Should we do more? What we can do? And I think this group here, after this seminar, and now when we are finishing this seminar here, and I think we will stay there and have some discussions, but maybe we could talk about more on this. Can we help each other? What we can do? Is there something that we can connect people together? Because I have the feeling that there is a lot of like these thoughts and like some words, but really, have we done enough? And I can say honestly, I haven't done. Actually, this seminar has been reminded me that I haven't done enough. Because all of these crises and all these threats that we are facing now at this moment, maybe we could do a little bit more. And this is something that I have been thinking during these days, actually, really, really much. But thank you.
Thank you very much. You were very disciplined with the timing as well.
Yes,
which allows for an excellent opportunity now for your engagement, your questions, your comments. Also, again, to those of you who are joining us via Zoom, please don't hesitate. So, as always, if you could raise your hand to pose a question or make a comment. Yes, okay. My colleague will come right
Victoria
over.
is active.
Thank you. Very interesting. I was thinking what you said about wars. I mean, looking at the Nordic countries, we were very violent, but many hundred years ago, when we have all had very much peace lately compared to maybe other parts of Europe and other parts of the world. Do you have any, could it be the development of our countries, or do you have any ideas of how that can be? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's about the education and like our history, that what we have had. And I think that we have learned a lot of how to make compromises and how to discuss and how to make friends and influence people. I have this kind of thought. Of course, I'm not sure if it's true, but somehow I think that we have been working together like decades. And we have had all the time this connection, and we are very honest and we are very open to have any kind of discussions. And I think that's might be the one reason.
My name is Abdulazim Noorbakhsh, but your name is Noora. Noorbakhsh, Noora is the sun shining for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. My question is, you have a long border, Finland with Russia. It's okay, yeah?
Yeah.
But how combating for the disinformations for protect for the democracy and culture, because all times Russians government is putting something against for the democracy or for the neighbor countries, in this cases for the young generations. Before another woman's also from Moldova is talking about that. What is the policy or strategy for in this regard Finland for the protecting? Thank you.
Well, I think in Finland the media is very trustful. So people, they really believe what the media is saying and writing. Of course, nowadays there is some issues, but people, they are trusting the media. And in Finland we have very many Russian people, and those have relatives in Russia. So I have heard that actually the Russian people who lives in Russia, they have different kind of news, of course, than we have in Finland. But those who are living in Finland, who knows the right information, they are going to tell them and actually they know how is the like real situation. And in Russia, like in overall, if you are meeting some friends outside of your home, you are speaking differently than inside the houses. And that's what I have heard a lot. So there's a lot of disinformation, but we don't see that in Finland that much.
It's extremely interesting to hear your opinion how the relations between the Finland and Russia will be in the next decade, let's say so.
Well, I believe, okay, this is might be like, I don't know, people are thinking differently, but I think we need to stop that war like immediately. And I don't see any other options that Ukraine have to give some land to Ukraine. I don't see any other solution. At the same time, I think that no way, they have to be strong and they have to protect their land. But I'm not sure if there's any other possibilities. So I think that we should start to negotiate with the Russian. And I think the Finnish people, they could be the link, because we have a long border and there is like many companies who are suffering on this situation. So we really hope that we will get our relationship with Russia close again, because there's like a lot of families which are living in both countries, and now it's like very, very, very bad situation. But I believe that after maybe 10 years, after 5 years, we have our relationship as good as it has been before.
Okay, over here we have near the window, a question.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation. I think there is new polarization between the like it is coming up again, Cold War, and I think you are suffering between being with European Union and keeping your old relation with Russia, and because historically your relation was with Russia, with other like Sweden, and now you are with the NATO, and this war definitely will affect you more than other European countries, and I think we will go again enter the Cold War if it is not the real war, third world war, and that will affect you and other European. Peace, we are speaking about peace, but this war is against peace. It should go on. But our countries, we are suffering a lot from conflict, instability, and intervention of international community, ruining our political systems, our life. What shall we say about that? Thank you.
Well, of course, the situation is different now, but I believe that it's not going to the Cold War. I don't believe. Of course, there is a risk always, but if you are well prepared, you don't have to be afraid. But I think that we will get our relationship with Russia better again, because they are losing money as well. So nobody wins. And of course it affects what's the how is the United States president, who's the next president? It's affecting a lot as well. But I don't see that situation as bad as maybe some other people. I think that there is this, because always there is like different period of times, and I think this is not that bad. We have had, if you were looking to history, there has been very bad situations, and now of course there's like another kind of war that they are trying to do something else, not maybe the military, but other things like explosion the electrical cables and like that. But I want to believe that we have still hope, that the situation is not that bad. We are going to have better times, and we will learn something about this period as well.
Yes, I have a comment. Okay, just I have one comment. Noora, that is very good comments for you to prepare one presentations for all the Finland peoples. I think now is very good opportunity for the people of Finland when we can see now is Finland and also Swedish is the member of the European, and of also the crisis in the world. For example, war in Ukraine, evacuations from Afghanistan, the military in Afghanistan now what should see in Afghanistan, and also war in Israel and with Gaza and Palestine, and also the elections to America. I think this is very nice, and also I think this is better for the Finland negotiations. The culture diplomacy, this is very important. It's the results will be very good. When Excellency asking you about the strategy. Strategy is very important in this cases for the Finland and also Swedish, because when we see the European countries economically some problems, and also the Balkan, other places, the strategy is for the Finlands. I think for diplomacy and culture, because you mentioned about the people's Russians and Finlands. When we are talking the military, it has been not benefit for the next 10 years or 5 years for the benefit for the Finlands and other countries. These are my comments. Thank you.
Then there was some question from Zoom.
Yes, Madam Fagerström, this is Tangai. I'm a member of the diaspora community and learning on international cooperation, given my extensive experience in the western side of Europe. I have been in the United Kingdom for the last 24 years, and I've learned quite a lot from this vibrant continent. So my questions is probably threefold. What critical lessons on global collaboration and obviously the use of force, i.e. sanctions, embargoes, have we unlearned so far in our pursuit of sustainable development goals, given the outcomes and consequences of use of military force in the last 20 years, if not more than that? How can we actually learn from those lessons, particularly in recognizing and enhancing mental health and peace, how correlated they are? Obviously, the consequences of international migration from the use of force. How can we, as a common humanity, learn to recalibrate our strategies to prioritize human dignity as the highest common denominator in our international relations? Maybe your insights in this can help us on formulating effective policies and political actions that are essential for fostering, more peaceful world in an equitable world.
Okay, so very, very difficult question. I'm not sure what was the real question, but if I understood right, you mean that how we can give you some insights, like what to put on, like
basically the other part of the question is about the insight that we learn from past failures of global collaboration, and as a consequence of the use of force in resolving disputes, human relations as it would be. And also a very critical point I would want to understand about the impact or the outcome of conflict and how it has destroyed global resilience on the global population scale in terms of stress, hopelessness, i.e. translating into mental health outcomes that we see today. So I was just trying to find out as to what insights, what critical lessons do we learn from the past and the present conflicts, and how best can we, harness this sort of diplomatic moment in terms of enhancing the highest levels of human dignity and the value that this can contribute towards our international collaboration efforts.
Well, I have to say, maybe I'm not the right person to answer. I'm not like on that deeply in this subject. But for example, the Winter War, where Finland lost its territories a lot, it lasts only 105 days. And it was because we wanted to negotiate and we wanted to the war ended, and we really wanted to find the solutions so we can still live in peace. So my advice is that it's better to discuss, it's better to have good relationship, it's better to know your enemies, it's always good to know people around you, and then like moving forward. But if you want peace, how I think, or how we think in Finland, that if we are well prepared, if there is a new technology, if there is something that we can defend ourselves, we will go for that. So always be prepared, but still negotiate. And that's my advice.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
We're actually exactly on time, so
Thank
very
you.
punctual. And I'd like to take the occasion now, please, Noora, thank you so much.